Are we?
Do you need me to
We're
hit the
live.
button? Are we gonna go live? Oh, hey, we're
We
live.
are live. We are live. Hi, guys. We are live. It's our last preview of the 2024 off season as camps have started. And Lisa's right. We're talking about the AFC East. Hi, guys. Welcome to the OTFB podcast. So glad you're here to join us. Before we get started, we're going to have to give a shout out to Donkey's Place. 4 years, guys.
4.
4 years. 4 years in a row, they decided to sponsor us. I guess that means they like what we're doing. So thank you. If you guys are in New Jersey, make sure you go to one of their locations in Medford, Camden, or Mount Holly. Stop by, tell them that we sent you. If you are in the lower 48 states, guess what you guys can do? You guys can go to goldbelly.com, search Donkey's Place, order yourself some, get it delivered to your house. Oh, it's fantastic. It feeds a bunch of people. So I think you'll be good to go. Guys, Lisa.
Oh,
How's Lisa?
I'm good.
Lisa,
I'm
you
good.
here?
I'm ready to talk
Okay,
tonight.
good. You ready to talk about some AFC East?
Oh, I'm ready to talk about some quarterbacks in this AFC East.
All right, for those of you who are new to the show, if you're watching us on Facebook or Twitter, get yourself over to YouTube because you can do comments in YouTube and we will see them. We will respond to them. You may get put them on the screen. And I have a feeling with this being Lisa's home division and suffering through what she suffered through at the end of last year, she might need a little bit of therapy. We might need a little bit extra help for her. So come on over to the YouTube, subscribe, like all the things, but at least you can chat with us. We do love to chat with our peeps on YouTube. So welcome.
Hi, Kristen. See, Kristen's
Oh,
here.
there's Kristen. Where's John?
Ready?
Where's Camden? Where's Big Red? Where's our regular
Where's
stalkers?
our regulars? Come on.
Our regular stalkers.
They'll get in. That's why we got to talk so much at the beginning about nothing. Give them a couple minutes to settle in.
They get in.
8 o'clock Eastern, 7
Yep.
Central, and it's
Yep.
been a beautiful weather day around
Yep.
here, so people are probably out doing things, but they'll catch up.
Get their adult beverage and
Join us. I don't have an adult beverage right now, and maybe that's for the best.
My Victory Monday cup because I'm hoping to drink flavored water on many a Victory Monday this year. But I have a feeling our Bills fans that are watching are thinking the same thing. Can we start with the Bills, Sonia?
Yeah, let's start with the Bills. Let's start with the Bills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Bills technically won that division last year with a record of 11-6. They had the best turnover ratio in the division at +2. They just had, what I think of, and I think we talk about a lot, they had their typical Bills season where we just weren't sure which team was going to show up from week to week. They looked really good when they took care of the Steelers in the wild card round, and then they looked really bad when they lost to the Chiefs in the divisional round. Sonia, do they do anything in this offseason that we think is going to help with that unpredictability? Get Josh Allen a whoopee or anything?
Well, I mean, kind of. They kind of got him some whoopies. I mean, if you count Marquez Valdez-Scantling as a whoopee, or Curtis Samuel as a whoopee, or Chase Claypool as a whoopee.
I did like the addition of Claypool.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think the biggest thing that they did that we all remember is that they traded Stephon Diggs, who I think kind of lent to that identity crisis, if you will. So they got rid of him.
Was that an addition by subtraction? Kristen seems to think so.
It could be an addition by subtraction. It really could. I don't know what happened to them last season. They had spots where they looked great and spots where they just looked awful. Oh, wait, hang on. Let's see if they added anybody in the draft that can kind of give them a whoopee. You remember they did trade out of the first round of the draft. So they got Keon Coleman, Cole Bishop, Dwayne Carter. I mean, nothing really awful, but nothing really that says whoopee. So whoopie's going to be our new word.
I don't know that they did anything that made a statement that they wanted to separate themselves in the division.
No. Agreed.
Yeah, Lisa, what are we going to get from Josh Allen this year?
Well, hopefully one of the things that we talked about when we looked at this division and talk about quarterback ratings from this week from every single show, breaking down quarterbacks from 1 to 10, and some had him dropping, some had him rising. One thing I do agree with some of the analysts on where he should be. He's definitely in the top 5 to me, and I'll tell you why. I know we have the postseason slumps. He just needs to get over that hump. And we got a couple other quarterbacks that we talked about last week that need to do the same thing. One particular in Dallas. So when you talk about Josh Allen through the season, the one thing that vaults him to the top of the list for me is his durability. This guy stays healthy. I mean, he is over when you look at his percentage of snaps. He might get dinged up here and there, but the guy's durable. So when you look at him, you're going to look at this new Bills offense because this is going to be Joe Brady's first year as a true offensive coordinator. So you look at James Cook in the running back. You look at Dalton Kincaid is primed to take over that tight end position. So they got some great weapons. They love what they're seeing out of him in Buffalo. And then James Cook. So you're going to see a little bit of a different offense, which, could be interesting for Bills fans. But as long as Josh Allen stays healthy, they're going to be a threat no matter what. And I still have him. He's my top 3 quarterback right now in the NFL just because of his durability and, what he can do. He's that dual threat with this guy can move. And he just puts his team on his back to win. He just needs to get over that hump. But like I said, it's going to be interesting to see, without Ken Dorsey there, without Stephon Diggs, what kind of new offensive we're going to see out of the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. But he's still, to me, still one of the top 5 quarterbacks in this league.
What's interesting to me looking at his stats, they went 4-2 in the division. They lost to the Jets week 1. And he had 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, 5 sacks. And then they lost week 18 to the Dolphins, where he had 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, and 3 sacks. It seems like some of his worst games are in division.
Right. And when you look, if you do the last comparisons, like you were talking about the interceptions to touchdowns, it's atrocious for him. And that's what dropped him on a lot of boards, is because when you look at that interception to touchdown ratio, it's god awful. So, and turnovers will kill you. We talked about it. And when you look at it, but durability wise for me, and the way he can just kind of change a game with his feet, still has him up in the top 5 for me. So I know, like I said, when you talk about that turnover ratio, and it is not pretty. I mean, they did the stats and it was like, whoo, wow.
Yeah.
And like I said, that dropped him a lot for some.
2020, 21, and 22, he had over 35 touchdowns and less than 15 interceptions. Last year, he only had 29 touchdowns and 18 interceptions. And he got sacked less last year than he had the previous 3 years. So it's like, it's not his line that's causing the issues. They just, I think at times with that offense last year, couldn't decide if he was a thrower or a runner.
Right.
Or just try to make him do things. So I agree with you. It'll be very interesting to see what they do scheming for him this year.
And who else they brought in? Who's their backup quarterback? A1 Mitch Trubisky.
And backup is
Traveling
the word.
Mitch.
There is no
Traveling
competition
Mitch.
going on. No. There is no competition. There's just, is he going to be healthy? And he's played 16, 17 games, minimum the last few years. He's healthy. Lisa nailed it with durability compared to some of the other quarterbacks in this division and in this league. He shows up and he plays. The Dolphins, however, are going to give them a run for their money again this year. The Dolphins were 11-6 last year. They finished dead even 0 in turnovers, takeaways and giveaways, which is interesting. And it's interesting to me as we go through the division. I'm picking teams this week, and I'm just starting with who finished first down to last. And I think you'll notice a pattern with the turnover ratio as I work my way down the list, because the Bills are the best at +2. Dolphins are even at 0, and you can guess how bad the next 2 are going to be when we get to them. But they lost to the Chiefs in the wild card round. They lost their last 2 regular season games. They just seemed I don't know, Lisa, they just seem to slide into the end of the season like they just couldn't wait for it to be done and try again next year.
Right. And then that's been the MO for the Dolphins for the past couple of years is the fight in December. They've proven they've got the talent around. They've proven that Tua can be a serviceable quarterback for them. What you're dealing with now with him is his contract, because you're looking at Joe Burrow, you're looking at some of the other quarterbacks, you're looking at Trevor Lawrence, who set the market for the Jaguars, and it's a little concerning where the Dolphins are with him, as he has reported to camp. He's not holding out, but they're deep in trenches in quarterback talks. He wants top pay for getting him into the postseason. Is it something we're thinking about with that postseason, like you just said, with the losses, the 2 losses, the last minute kind of bad throws and the decisions he can make? I mean, because let's face it. I mean, one game he'll be great, and those fourth quarters he'll just make that one play that kind of does it. So it's kind of weird on the money there, what the Dolphins are hesitating for. Players certainly are support. Tyreek's come out and support him, so the support's there. So I think the contract will get done. I think it's going to be a surprising amount for people, because I think he wants a lot of money. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Dolphins do. But at the same time, there's what you're striving for: durability. He kind of changed his game up a little bit last year, stayed on his feet. So it's still in question, though, with the history of concussions from him, the line, the talent they've got surrounding him, which they addressed some of it in the offseason. So just got to get better. You got to get better in December. You got to win the games in December when they matter. Get yourself in a position to be there.
Yesterday, or was it today?
With what's his face?
Emmanuel Ogbah.
Yes, that was yesterday. No, that was today. That was today.
Was it today?
I think it was official today, but yep. So they signed him. Let's see, what else did they do? Sorry, guys, I kind of had to do this last minute. So let's see, Calais Campbell. They signed
and that was done because of Shaq Barnett retiring, which I think kind of caught him a little bit off guard. I don't think they expected to see that, even though certainly we sit here, we understand it, right? I mean, it's right. You just get there. If your heart's not there, it's not there. I mean, you don't want anybody on that team anyway that's not going to give 110%. And he just was ready to hang it up. So it's just like, congratulations, enjoy your retirement, and we got to move on. We don't have time to say, oh no, but like you said, and I think that was a little bit of the Ogbah thing. Let's do some replacements and then work on some other things. So
they got Odell.
Yeah.
They got OBJ. They also got they re-signed Jalen Waddle. So I mean,
the pieces are still there. I mean, the pieces are there, and you're still adding. So like you said, we just got to get over that December collapse that we seem to have. So
I mean, what's interesting to me when I look at the game breakdowns is, so you've got the Bills and the Dolphins. They both finished the season 11-6. They were both 7-2 at home. They were both 4-4 on the road. They were both 4-2 in the division. Like, they're, even with the Dolphins falling off at the end of the year, they ended up so similarly in those in those records and stuff. The big difference being the Bills finishing the year on a 5-game winning streak and the Dolphins ending it on a 2-game losing streak. And they both went to the playoffs. Is that going to be the big competition again this year? Is it Dolphins Bills?
I think so. As of right now, when you look on paper, like we're in training camp, but when you look at the dynamics of both these teams and what they've added, I couldn't see anything else coming back to that, it coming down to the one of the two in the end. And it's all going to depend on Aaron Rodgers' status as well. I mean, we have to go into thinking that if he stays healthy, that the Jets will be at the end. Jets defense is stout. So I think if anybody would be the surprise of this division, it's going to be the Jets. So
yeah. Kristen wants to know if he's your favorite Dolphin. She's talking about Tua. Is he your favorite Dolphin right now?
No.
Do you have a favorite right now?
I like Jalen Waddle. I think he's I loved him in college with Alabama. I had him. I loved when they picked him. I told everybody from the beginning when I was down there actually for that draft, when they drafted Jalen, he was their pick all the time. I mean, they were talking about, other things. I think, was that the Chase? I forgot which wide receiver went in front of him, because remember he had his ankle injury. So there was some issues about the ankle, but this kid's a stud at wide receiver. I think he brings a whole different dimension to the game when he's on the field. And you can definitely tell some of the games that Waddle went out last year with some of the injuries, the difference that he makes being on that field. So right now, I just love his play. Kid plays with a lot of heart, and I love that. I'm old school. I like players that go out there and play with heart, and he does. So right now, I'd have to say he's my favorite.
Rock with that. That's a good one to rock with.
Yeah. But my favorite quarterback out of the division is Josh Allen.
I could tell. I could totally tell.
Yeah. Well, now I think it's time to move on to the next team in this division. And we've, since this is our last week of doing divisions, there have been quite a few that we've talked about where you've got some very clear cream of the crop teams and then everybody else. And this is another one of those where, Lisa, I'm completely on board with you. Unless Aaron Rodgers does something, those Jets finished 7-10 last year. Their turnover ratio was -6. They had a 4-game losing streak at one point. They were fairly balanced from a standpoint of they were 4-5 at home, 3-5 on the road. I mean, they're equally good or equally bad. Didn't matter where they were. 2-4 in the division. I think they shocked everyone by beating the Bills week 1. It was pretty much downhill from there. I mean, they could improve from 7-10, but I don't know if they could improve much. Sonia, did they do anything in the offseason to help improve that record?
I mean,
I saw a whole lot of nothing.
Really?
When I looked.
I think the biggest name that they signed is Tyreek Cohen, his running back. Like, I'm looking right now. That's really all I can see. They got rid of Zach Wilson. They traded him to Denver. But yeah, like, I don't see that they did a lot of signing anything really to write home about. And then looking at their draft, they did get they got Jordan Travis from Florida State, the kiddo that broke his leg. So I think that's okay. Braylon Allen, running back out of Wisconsin. Their first round pick, they got I would try his name, Oluwama Fashanu from Penn State.
Olu Fashanu.
Yes.
They re-signed Zerline. Kickers matter. I know they don't matter, but they did re-sign him. What's their depth chart look like at quarterback? They got rid of Zach, right?
Yeah, they got rid of Zach.
Who did they get Denver? Who does that leave backing up Aaron?
Jordan.
Tyreek Taylor.
Oh, Tyrod Taylor.
Tygod.
Wow. I can't even.
Yep. Tyrod. Yeah, he signed back in March with them.
Okay.
But just remember, though, they're going to get Bryce Hall back. So he was coming on before he got hurt. So they're expecting big things from him coming back. So I mean, it could be interesting here. I mean,
their defense is still good. They've got Sauce Gardner.
Their defense is still good, and yeah. When we get into Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he's 40 years old. Talk about being on the rated. He dropped a lot. They dropped him a lot because of him not staying healthy. And you have to. I mean, that was the first thing I said. Because we can all agree, if you get a good line, keep him on his feet, he stays healthy, he's a great quarterback. I mean, he'll pick you apart. And that behind that Jets defense, so it's going to just matter on his health to me, whether they keep him healthy or not. And then again, he's 40 years old. Pretty much didn't play at all last season. So it's going to be interesting to see.
I mean, they still got Breece Hall to run the ball. He didn't quite hit 1,000 yards last year. Garrett Wilson receiving was just a little bit over. I think that was just a factor of quarterback play between Zach Wilson, Trevor Siemian. They didn't have good quarterback play last year. I hope for their sake and the fans' sake and for the sake of good football.
Yeah, I agree.
Healthy and complete this year. I agree, Camden.
Yeah. I mean, they and
Totally.
that's been the talk on all of them, was basically the defense, that this defense is going to keep them in a lot of games. And like you said, if this defense keeps you in games and Aaron Rodgers stays on his feet and they protect him and Bryce can run the ball, they're going to be hell to play. They're going to be in that division. They're going to be fighting, scrapping. So the Jets are going to be a hard fought win to get if Rodgers stays healthy.
When again, turnovers are a huge thing for me. They were -6, but a lot of that was quarterback issues.
Yeah.
As good as that defense is, they only managed to score 3 pick sixes.
Right.
You know,
So, yeah.
They also had crappy field position. Like, they were behind the 8 ball. The second half of games were just brutal. The defense was tired and rugged, and they still kept them in a lot of games. It was 7-10. They were still in a lot of those that were close. I guess that leaves us with how the times have changed. New England Patriots at 4-13 with a -11 turnover ratio.
Did you ever think we'd ever be talking?
They had a 5-game losing streak at one point, and one of the statistics that I thought was, I think, the most telling, their home record was 1-8. And I want to feel bad for Patriot fans. I don't. I want to, because that's just brutal to go 1-8 at home. But then I remember all those years with Tom Brady where they had no problem rubbing it in the face of everyone on the planet that they were good and the rest of us weren't. So the chickens have come home to roost, New England Patriots fans. But I think when you can only win 1 game at home, that's rough. That there's no home field advantage in Foxborough for them. What was their offseason like, Sonia?
Pretty eventful. I mean, you start with the front office, and so, Jared Mayo is their new head coach. They got rid of, Belichick is out, so I think that was probably a big one. So let's see, what else did they do? Malcolm Butler retired, KJ Osborne. I'm just looking through here because, like I said, I didn't get a chance to do my homework.
On them?
That's pretty much it. Nothing like super big. Wait, hang on. Oh, yeah. Running back.
I think this is another team where the coaching change it's going to take a little while for him to build this team and to get what he wants and to do the things, especially because that team is so entrenched in Belichick and the way he did things. But you're going to see a lot. There have already been a lot of changes in the coaching staff, and it's going to take him a little bit of time. I don't know how patient fans are going to be with this rebuilding, but it's clearly, now that they've moved away from Belichick, I feel like they've admitted that they need to rebuild. They got Christian Gonzalez, cornerback out of Oregon, in the draft at number 17, which I thought was interesting that they went defense. And then they got Keon White, a defensive end, and then Marty Mapu, a safety. And so their first 3 picks were defense.
Wait,
again,
from this
year? No, they got May. They got Drake May on the third.
Drake May.
Drake. Yeah, they got Drake May.
See, I skipped right over Drake
Yeah,
May.
he was the third.
Is he going to play, Lisa? Is he battling for that job?
He's battling for the job from what they said. I mean, you got Drake May. He started all 14 games in North Carolina. He went 342 out of 570 passes, 66.2 passer rating, 4,321 yards, 38 touchdowns, and rushed for 698 yards, I believe, in the season. So, and like you said, this is the kid that looks like he's 13 years old when they show pictures of him. But they made it perfectly clear that Jacoby Brissett will be the starter. He will be their QB number 1, but that there will be a window for May to take over. So I think what you're seeing, are we done
with Bailey Zappe hour?
I think we are. I think we're done with the Zappe because it's pretty much all the talk was between them two. But you know me, third round overall.
Well, and they also picked up Joe Milton. I actually like Joe Milton out of Tennessee.
I like Joe. Joe's got a good arm. He's just green.
Drake
Real
May.
Green.
They're both. He needs some time, but
yeah. But
You
I
know,
mean,
if
you got
Brissett has a good
horses.
season,
and you got horses in the stable. You can't have, to me, you can't have any, let them all battle. That's going to bring out the best of them. And whoever battles the best wins the job. So I think when you
that'll
look
tell us a lot about their new head coach.
I think it will.
Which quarterback style he likes, which one he ends up going with at the end of the season.
Well, you got to hope they go with the number 3rd, because giving up a first round 3rd pick for a kid that you give up on, that's going to be bad. That hurts for several years down the road. Yeah, unless you have a diamond, a CJ Stud in Milton, I don't know.
Were you surprised when they took May in the draft?
No. They needed something to build on. And I mean, when you look at the kid play in North Carolina, he needs a little bit of work, but I mean, he was outstanding. I mean, he had great, he game management. He's a smart kid. He can read defenses. And I just think they pulled the trigger of something to build around. And Milton, to me, was the best player on the board at that time. And they're like, hey, let's, they pulled the trigger, because I don't think they expected him to be there. So I think when they picked him up, I think it was I think he went undrafted, didn't he? I think he was a free agent, and I think they brought him in. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
Camden makes a very interesting point. The Pats fans are patient. Kraft isn't. And we talk a lot about Jerry in Dallas. Kraft is from that same breed, right? He doesn't necessarily have the patience you need to have as an owner. He hasn't had to go through this rebuilding process for a very long time.
Then that would make me question why Jacoby. Yeah, because Jacoby's not going to get you. So I mean, Jacoby's Jacoby. We all are very familiar with Jacoby. We had Jacoby down here for a little bit. He's not winning you a Super Bowl. I am just going to tell you that right now.
We had him here. I agree, but he should win you more than 4 games.
Right.
I don't know that he wins you enough to get you out of the cellar of the division.
Right. So that makes me think that, okay, here's our bridge here's our veteran presence with Jacoby. Here's May, who by all stats should be your franchise quarterback, because you took him 3rd overall. And then we got Milton behind him to see if something stumbles, this kid can't come. So you got a little bit of a 1-2 punch, because you got a little, you got a wild card in Milton. You hope you shot for the stars with May, so hopefully he'll take it over. So he's going to have some patience, because I don't see CJ Stroud again for a little bit coming out of any of these quarterbacks, but something to build on. So Kraft might be he's going to need to be a little bit patient.
He has to, right?
Right.
I would think that he's not hoping that it's like a Houston Texans situation, because I see that there needs to be more cohesion and more. I don't know. I had a different vibe about the Texans than I do about the Patriots right now.
Well, and if you're the Patriots, you think about wanting to win now. You think about quarterbacks that were one of your options. Russell Wilson was an option to bring Russell in. You have a Super Bowl winning quarterback. If you're that impatient, you're going to look at somebody like Russell. So I think that Kraft might have to be a little bit patient, because he doesn't have the quarterback roster right now that's going to get you far.
Well, and Sonia, I agree with you about the Texans, but I think maybe the difference is that was a division that was available to take. The Jaguars, we kept trying to pick them and they would win, but
we kept trying.
We kept trying to, between them, the Colts and the Texans and the Titans, that division was just waiting for somebody to step up and take it. In the AFC East, you've got to go beat the Bills and the Dolphins. And 1 year is not enough to get the weapons that the Patriots or the Jets or any other team would need to get up over the Bills and the Dolphins. It's a bigger climb. So maybe for me, that's why the Houston rebuild felt faster, and it felt like they had a better shot of succeeding, because the bar wasn't that high to win that division when Houston made those moves.
Right. And look at and then we talk about the quarterbacks in that division as well. Look at the quarterbacks we have in this division. We got Allen, Tua, and freaking Rodgers. So it's,
trying to, I mean, he's good in spurts and in moments. He had his moments in Cleveland. He had his moments in Minnesota. Like, he's been a number of places where he's had his moments. You just got to win more than 4 games.
Yeah, they got to.
That's all.
They got to bring
Okay,
Muhammad to the mountain. They got to bring Muhammad to the mountain because.
True that.
So,
All right.
but-
Anything else we want to say about
All
this
right.
division? I kind of feel like we flew through it, but this division was not big on off-season moves. There were a couple, but it was really quiet.
Well, we all knew Diggs
as
was
a
going.
fan, Lisa, were you waiting for somebody to do something and nobody, or you just knew that's how this
No.
division rolls?
I knew this division. We knew Diggs was moving. We knew that. We moved that. I kind of knew that from training camp last season when he started all of this crap he started. I was like, oh, they're gonna, and they calmed it down, but I was like, they're gonna move on him. They're gonna move off him because, like I said, that was just too much. It's already bad enough where we're almost not quite to where the Mahomes thing is with Allen, because I gather he's dating that actress and they went Instagram, so Haley Steinfeld,
Josh
Allen's,
dating,
yeah, Haley
Oh.
Steinfeld. Apparently she's
Who
some
knew?
big actress. Yeah. So, but it'd be interesting because, like I said, those are your we got good quarterbacks in this division. So it's you look at that quarterback room, they got a lot of work to do in New England to catch this group.
Mhm.
So
They do.
mhm. And new coach to boot. So
To boot.
To
All
boot.
right.
Well, we wrapped up our division, guys, just in time for training camp.
Training camp.
That's
And
right.
then next
The
week
season-
are the Pro Football Hall of Fame enshrinements. On the Hall of Fame game is on Thursday the 1st. The Bears and I can't remember who they're playing.
the Bears.
Boy.
Huh?
Wait, hang on. I'm looking it up. Okay.
And then Saturday, August 3rd, Texans. We were just talking about them. I don't know why it went out of my head.
Texans. That's right.
So that's
That's next
Thursday
week,
night.
guys. That
And
is
then
that we got
Saturday
football.
we'll have an enshrinement with some interesting enshrinees. So we'll talk. I think that maybe next week that's what we'll talk about is who's going to be getting into the Hall of Fame this year. Talk about that a little bit and how training camps are going. And then we're just a few short weeks away from our Pick'em show, right?
Right.
Few
September
short
will
weeks from
be
our
here.
Pick'em show.
It is one of our best shows of the year. I will actually be here for the Pick'em show this year. I will not be out of the country. You're welcome. I know, Sonia, you like it when I email my picks to you, and then you get to try to remember that I
Shred
did
it. She shreds your.
I
shreds
don't
them.
And then
shred
later, I
them.
wish we would have just burned them because they were horrible.
Kate wanted to pick the Browns, but we're not going to pick the Browns today. We're going to say
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh,
I'm just freaked
if
out.
you-
It's like it's the 23rd. Next week we're going to be watching football.
Yep.
Woo!
Next Thursday, we have real football. It's preseason football, but it's
But hey, it's something, right?
football.
still football.
Exactly. If anybody is interested in our OTFB fantasy league, make sure you message us so we can get you on or in the league.
Yeah,
we set
send
it
us a
up really
DM on the OurTurf Twitter account. We've got some tweets out there about the league. If you find one, you can reply to it or just DM us. We're getting people signed up now. So
yeah. Hopefully to draft at the end of August, just before the season starts. So
Yeah.
Okay, Kristen, if you want to be in it, go ahead and DM us and I'll get you all squared away.
Yep.
all right, thanks
You guys are
everybody.
just
Thanks
lucky I
again to
don't have good
Donkeys.
internet. You're just lucky I don't have good
Dana,
internet.
drive safe on your airport Uber missions tonight.
Oh goodness. Yes, everybody be safe. See you guys next week. Thank you, donkeys. Yeah.
I'd
And
own
bye
that
from
Donkey's
Niles.
Cup if I had good internet.
Bye.